I'm Alan Finlayson. I'm Professor of Political and Social Theory at the University of East Anglia and a team member on the Our Subversive Voice project. Yes, at one level, it's very simply described as a project investigating the history of protest songs in England from 420 years. So part of it is about showing how protest songs aren't just something that were invented in the 1960s by guys with acoustic guitars and beards a bit like this one, but actually a long-standing part of English political history. Well, the protest song definitely has a place in our modern world, and we've seen protest songs coming out over the last couple of years about all kinds of topics. So there'll always be protest songs because there's always going to be politics and things we want to protest about, and song is a good way of doing that. One example is by the rapper Dave, who wrote a song called Question Time, and he released it just after Theresa May had taken over as Prime Minister from David Cameron. And what he does in that song is mimic the ritual of Prime Minister's questions. He starts by saying, "A question for the new Prime Minister," follows it with the rhyme, "How come you got a heart so sinister?" and then poses a series of questions and challenges to the Prime Minister. What are you going to do about this? Why did you behave this way when you went to visit the Grenfell Tower block that burned down, killing lots of people? So what you get there is a song in which someone performs the role of challenging and questioning a Prime Minister, putting them on the spot, demanding to know what they think and what they're going to do, which is a basic role of any citizen, and lets us sing along and feel empowered in that way. Latitude obviously is a music festival, a good place to talk to people about music. So yeah, we had a good audience of people who want to come up and they talk to us about the songs. People were fascinated to discover songs from so long ago. They didn't know how to protest history. They were excited to see songs they remembered from the 70s and 80s and 90s and to connect with those and to think about what songs might be needed or might be written now about contemporary political problems.
My name is Beth, Derks. I work at the UEA. I run a project called Future Leaders, where we work with young people on their leadership skills. I mean, John Street and Alan Finlayson, they are just phenomenal researchers. They had 400 years of protest songs. It's so much food for thought and interaction. We thought we need a visual. We need something to start the conversation and which looks a little bit outrageous. So we came up with this idea to make a life-size elephant. And why we took the elephants, which we call Dolly the Do Different Elephant, is because then people could actually talk to members of staff about their ideas, what issues they felt needed to be addressed. So if the Latitude 2022 protest song was written, what should that protest song be about? And I think we had over around 200 ideas. It were a lot of ideas that we had. And people really took that time to think about what issues they wanted to address in society. And if they wanted to protest about something, what would they want to protest about?
In the lack of sexual assault awareness nowadays, 70% of women get sexually assaulted at some point, and that is a ridiculous number and nothing's being done about it. And so it is absolutely ludicrous nowadays that is still going on and nobody's actually talking about it.
I wrote about how the cost of travelling by train is significantly more expensive than putting petrol in your car, and if the government wants to fund more eco-friendly forms of travel and lifestyles, they need to bring the costs of those things down and maybe tax things like petrol and the less eco-friendly ways of living. I think protesting is the only way to get your message across, and if sometimes signing petitions is great, but at the end of the day that's not going to make anyone really listen. Sometimes you do have to make yourself seen.
For me, protest is about making change. It's about showing that there's another world possible and not shy away from those difficult, thorny topics. So sometimes it is shouting rage and frustration at the systems that dispossess people, but sometimes it's also about encouraging people to work together and come together to create a better place.
Singing, Anna was a suffragette.